many times when making these videos I've said the phrase, "It's a lot like Game of Thrones," but I'm sure if you tallied it up, it'd be way too many. Can we get a new fantasy touchstone, please? Mistborn movie or something? Hello everyone, welcome to the Book Cafe. If this is your first video with us, please consider subscribing, because I guarantee you, if you enjoy this video, you'll like the rest. I have been avoiding this particular review for several months, for a rather unfortunate reason. The book we're reviewing today is A River of Stars by Guy Gavriel Kay. And I really wanted to like this book. The concept was interesting. It's about a bandit prince and a political struggle in a fantasy version of what I think is Tang Dynasty China. So it's an inventive premise. It's a great angle on a story that's otherwise been done a bunch of times. The characters are interesting. The writing is, quite frankly, amazing. And the world has an amazing amount of depth to it. Which is why I'm kind of disappointed. Because there's something wrong with the plot. An agent I once spoke to told me that prologues tend to drag a book down. And thus they should be avoided unless absolutely necessary. While I may have believed her, I didn't completely understand what she meant until I read this book. There's nothing about it that's explicitly labeled prologue, but I'm about a quarter of the way into the book, and the main character has only been in it for about one page. Every character who's had a chapter centered around them thus far either only shows up in that one chapter, or when they show up in the second, have either died, been incapacitated, or become otherwise inconsequential to the plot. And so it's very hard to tell who I'm supposed to care for. There is all of this background set up, and to be fair, the way this background is set up is evidence of the author's brilliance. But this book so far is like brutalist architecture. Yes, it's genius. Yes, it's making a statement. But I don't really know why I should care. I spent the entire time I was reading it wondering what was going to set off the plot. Who was going to be important? This book has been compared to Game of Thrones. The thing is, Game of Thrones has a couple of important differences. The first being that even though the perspectives switch, there's an obvious narrative through line. Even from the beginning, there is an obvious plot, even if that plot ends up being a misdirection. The second thing is that Game of Thrones waits for you to care about characters before killing them. And the second thing is that Game of Thrones waits for you to start caring about characters before it kills them. This book, from the beginning, is offing people left and right. You don't know why, and you don't know why you should care. You're just stuck there wondering when the story is going to start, and it doesn't. I will say, unequivocally, the author of this book is an incredible writer. Their writing, their characters, their scenes, they're evocative, manages to pack a lot of description into very few words, and is able to create these beautiful images. The problem is that as good a writer as this author is, they are a terrible storyteller. It feels like there's a lot of talent and a lot of research that went into this, but not a lot of honing of the craft. As a result, I am dismayed to say that I have to give this book by it used. Much as I wanted it to score higher, I have been attempting to read this book since before I started these reviews, and still have not been able to finish it, which should tell you most of what you need to know. What did you think? Have you read A River of Stars? Did you disagree with my assessment? Make sure to let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to tell us by clicking on the like button here on the dragon to subscribe for more reviews like this. Here to watch another great video from our channel. Our next review is probably going to be up next week, so I will see everyone then, and until then, read good fantasy.